In this video, I'm going to show you something that is critical to know when you're working with timber constructions with high sound requirements, like unit separation walls between dwellings. Now, a typical way if you're doing a CLT building is that you have the building load-bearing structure like this in cross-laminated timber, and then you add a second layer here, which is placed with an air gap, and then you have a framed wall and perhaps a double layer of gypsum like so. Oh, those gypsum boards are quite thick. Let's see if we can do it a little bit more realistic. There. And there's some mineral wool inside the wall. This is a very typical way to construct. And then you might have, let's say you have 160 CLT, air gap, and then dual layer of gypsum there. 2 times 13 gypsum. The frame is probably 70. This one is 160, and this one might be, I don't know, 15 to 40 perhaps, depending on sound requirements. Now what is very important here, very, very, very important, is that you must not allow these ones to have contact. This must be a free standing wall. If you get contact between these two, you will have a severe reduction in sound insulation, and that is not good. So what I've seen now, for example, it could be that there is you know, when you have electrical installations, you do a hole and then you add these outlets, and then there's this what's it called? Eldosa in Swedish. The thing where you connect all the cables with the electrical stuff in there. Now, it would be wise if you have it on this side that it must only attach to this wall structure. Perhaps even better if it's one of those that are mounted on the outside like this. It's a bit uglier and takes a bit more space, but acoustically it would be safer. But even though if you have this solution, I've seen that sometimes it's just placed here on a distance and attached to this side, and then when you put the plates on, you might get structural contact here, and you will have a ton of connection like this. So don't do it that way. Be very careful with everything that you put inside your wall, but remember that this air gap, whoa, that was a bit thick as well. Air, this one is very, very important, and that goes for all lightweight constructions. Be careful with structural connections. It's the same way if you have a more typical double framed wall like this. Whoops. One of these guys. You also have to be careful here and here. Do not let them touch, because then you will have problems. And from what I can tell, I suppose, I mean, nobody wants to do a bad job, of course, but it's quite easy to think that maybe if it's just a little bit of connection there, it's not that big of a deal, but it is a big of a deal. Be very careful. When it says air gap, freestanding structure, we really mean it. It must be free. So be careful with that when you build in timber, and you will be fine. See you later.